guys, I'm back. Got another episode here for you. Had a good weekend and a few things happened. Got some orders in today. Visited a local card shop. A bunch of cool stuff over the weekend, and just wanted to recap some of that, share some thoughts, and also just literally right before I push record on this video, I just won one of my I don't call it a grail card because it's definitely not a grail, but it's definitely one of my chase cards that I've been after for quite a while. I got the 2012 Topps Chrome Russell Wilson Rookie Refractor, which has been very, very hard to obtain, especially in a decent centering, because that card is pretty much that whole 2012 Topps Chrome set is, the centering is just a nightmare. So I've been slowly collecting the rainbow, as you call it, which is, you know, all the different parallels. And this was one of the bigger ones that I've been chasing and losing out on quite a bit. But I think the unfortunate loss last night to the Arizona Cardinals, where Russell had a little bit of a tough game. I mean, he still threw some amazing passes and passed for nearly 400 yards and 3 touchdowns, but he did have a few interceptions, which is very uncharacteristic. And they did end up losing in overtime to a division rival. So a little bit of a tough pill to swallow, but hey, we're still in first. You know, the greats have bad games too, and you know, it's just about how he bounces back next week and, you know, how the rest of the season plays out. So at any rate, I'm not giving up on Russell because he had one bad game, but I definitely think that might have helped me secure the card for about 25 to 30% cheaper than what it had been selling for even a week ago. So yay for me. I'm pretty happy about that. But anyways, I guess today's episode, I just want to kind of go over a few things. I mentioned at the top here that I stopped by a local card shop. Hadn't been to one in a little bit. I went to one over the summer when I was getting hot and heavy back into purchasing cards and opening boxes. And that was probably, I want to say July maybe. So it's been, you know, a solid 4 or 5 months since I had been to one. So I was pretty excited. I actually went and checked out a brand new one because I had some other business to attend to in this area of town, and I, of course, Google searched, you know, the local card shops in that area, found one that's been there, you know, like most of them, probably 20, 30 years, and went there to visit them. It's called DJ Sports Cards. I'll put the website down there, but super cool guy. DJ runs the store. He's got a couple great kids there working with him. Like most card shops right now, they're pretty decimated in terms of wax and in terms of you know, kind of sought after singles and so on and so forth, just because the hobby's gotten so hot over the last few months that, you know, they just haven't been able to keep up with the demand. So he's dying right now for some inventory, and, you know, I told him maybe I can start giving him some stuff to sell at his shop, because he does do a consignment program, which is really cool. So anyways, I think that's always a good option if you are, you know, trying to sell your cards or looking to sell. The local card shops, most of them will do some sort of a consignment program. Usually you're gonna be in the ballpark of like a 20% consignment fee. But if you think about it like this, if you're selling on eBay, you're going to get hit with a 10% eBay fee, 3% PayPal fee. So at the end of the day, you're talking 13%, right? So you're now 7% away. On top of that, just the stress and the headache of dealing with eBay and buyers and questions and returns and all the things that, you know, come with selling on eBay, which we all know if you do it, it's not the always the most pleasurable experience. I mean, there's times when it goes smooth and everything's great, but there's times when, you know, people aren't making payments, or you're, you know, waiting for something, or someone returns something because the player does bad the next week or something. Anyways, there's lots of reasons why eBay's a pain. I think it's selling through your local card shop is actually a pretty cool option. And, you know, 20% does seem like a lot, but once you weigh everything out and you start really kind of looking at the pros and the cons of it all, then you can probably say, you know what, it's kind of pretty even in terms of the ROI. And I think a lot of people tend to forget about the local card shop options just because, you know, the internet has made everything so easy and so transactional nowadays that sometimes you just forget that's even there. And also, you know, it helps you build a relationship with a local card shop, which I'm personally trying to do because I'm trying to secure some new product. And so I don't have to fight, you know, at retail, trying to get, you know, some wax to open. And I would love to have a relationship with DJ and his store, and that way, you know, I can, you know, get a phone call when new product comes in and maybe secure a few boxes ahead of the crowd. And, you know, I guess it takes a little bit of a give and take in those scenarios where, you may not, have that ability if you are just, once in a blue moon customer. But if you start selling cards and consigning and doing other things through your card shops, then I think it really gives you that leg up when you need to sort of tap them for some stuff. So anyways, with that said, I'll show you a few cards I picked up. I was actually going in there, I was trying to find a box of Absolute Football 2020, because I've heard great things about it, and I really wanted to rip a box. But of course, he had sold out already, and I was a little disappointed because I thought for sure that, it's not like a super hot product in terms of like Prism or some of the other ones that are going to be flying off the shelves, and I don't have any expectations of those sitting there weeks after the release. But I thought Absolute might have a chance, but of course, with this day and age we're in, it's not very common to have any wax left on the shelves. So I just grabbed a few singles while I was there because I wanted, I spent about an hour in there kind of, looking through, $1, $5, $10 bins, and, pulled out a couple things I thought were fun, and just wanted to show you sort of some of the picks I made. It wasn't anything crazy high end or anything amazing. I just kind of like saw a few things I thought were cool. Maybe they're gradable, and picked them up. So I'll start off with this deer and fox here. So this is one of the guys I got my eye on for next year. I think he's still very, undervalued in terms of how much, collectability he has, and how many people are kind of soft circling him as being a potential, rising star. But I think, he's going to probably make some noise, and I think a lot of people might be surprised when he comes out next year. This is his status card, which I actually love status. I'm a graphic designer. It's one of my skill sets, and I mean, the design of these cards are so cool. There's nothing else that looks like these. They really go graphical with the very geometric and different colors that are very on trend within the graphic design world. So I mean, a lot of these like pale hues of like pastel colors and stuff, this is very on trend. So if you were a graphic designer and you were designing basketball cards, it would probably look something like this. It wouldn't look like Prism, it wouldn't look like Select, it would look something like this. So very cool card. Deer and Fox here, just grab this. Again, a few bucks probably is what I ended up spending on that. I saw this guy sitting in the 50% off bin, so I think I got this for, I want to say like $5 or something. Pretty cheap, and the card is pretty clean. I think this is definitely a grading candidate. This is his iconic Upper Deck rookie card with the sort of triple silhouette there. Cool card. I mean, anyone that collected during the 90s remembers this card as being one of the chase cards back in the days. And so again, really cool, solid card to get, just graded and stashed away. Shaquille's not going anywhere. He's going to be in the the overall kind of atmosphere of basketball for many, many years, I believe. And I think he's going to, continue to have collectors for years to come. So any Shaquille cards I can get my hands on, especially rookies, and especially like really cool visual ones like this, I'm going to grab them, especially if they're in the 50% off bin. For sure, no brainer. This one was just a little kind of goofy base card I got, but I think since 2 is going to be starting now this year, I do think this card's going to probably see some value. This isn't anything special. This is just base Absolute. Maybe this was like kind of fulfilling my desire to rip some Absolute, so I just got this because this would be, of course, one of the cards I would have been looking for. You get nothing special. It's just his base, but I mean, again, it's Tua. You never know. This guy might end up doing some big things this year. Maybe finding his way into the playoffs. Who knows? We'll see, but. I think this would be really awesome if, Tua breaks out and has a big year. Even his base cards, which we all know are a dime a dozen, but, they're definitely very transactional, and you can liquidate quickly if you're just trying to move into some more nicer Tua stuff down the road. All right, and the final one I got, this is the last one. I think a lot of people forget that that A-Rod started on the Seattle Mariners. That was definitely a really, really cool team we had back then. You're talking about some of the big studs on there. So anything, of course, Seattle Mariners I love because I'm a homer and I love the Mariners, even though they are pretty terrible in terms of making the playoffs. But you can't get much better than one of the goats in Seattle Mariners jersey with the giant rookies right there. People love seeing rookie on the cards, which always makes it more valuable. So again, this one was in great shape. This was probably like I don't even know, $4, something like that. So grab this. You know, the nice thing about going to card stores too, guys, is you can actually pull out the cards, inspect them, you know, check for damage. You're not playing the eBay game of trying to, you know, zoom in on the card and seeing if the corners look soft, or, you know, you can't ever tell if the surface is decent. So you have to sit there and write a bunch of annoying messages to sellers, ask them all these questions. So go into your local card shops. It's a great thing, man. It's, you know, supporting your local entrepreneurs and small business owners. It's good for you because you can pick up stuff for cheap and you can inspect it and just take a look at it. You can build relationships, you know, with the owners, where you can maybe secure some nice new releases and wax that you've been eyeing. And of course, you know, and just hanging out there and meeting other collectors that, of course, you know, will cycle in throughout the day. You know, spend an hour or two in your local card shop, you know, and, you know, spend a little bit of money too. Don't be a cheap ass, you know, don't go in there and just browse and then walk out with nothing. Grab a couple things, spend 5, 10, 20, 30 bucks, whatever, you know, whatever you can afford. But I think it goes a long ways with these guys. And, you know, again, even on the market's hot right now, we have to remember, you know, for the past, you know, before about 2 or 3 years ago, there was a real long period of time that they struggled. And there was a lot of, I'm sure, a lot of leases that didn't get paid, and a lot of businesses that shuttered. So while we are in a hot market right now, these guys survived those dark years, and we're now, you know, there's finally seeing the payoff. So again, support your local card shops, go check them out. And yeah, we'll leave it at that for my PSA on that. A couple other things. I got some mail in today, so I'm gonna go and open those up real quick, just kind of see what we got. Something else I wanted to say on my last video, I had to end up like cutting half of my mail day sort of clips, because my inexperience in the YouTube world led me to showing my address on like 50% of the footage I had. Well, not just my address, but also the person that sold it to me's address, which is even worse. So this time I am going to try my best to kind of keep everything tucked down here. We're going to just throw that away. All right, now we're safe. So again, lessons learned in the world of YouTube broadcasting here. I tried to do the, you know, the whole like blur it out technique, and I started watching how-to lessons on that, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna spend 2 hours learning this and then doing it. And I'm just like, let me just clip it, and it ended up not being too bad. So anyways, lessons learned: don't show addresses or personal information on YouTube videos, because you don't never know who's gonna be out there. So anyways, yeah, cool. Got a nice Zion optic rookie here. This is 1920 optic. I ripped so much optic. Can I tell you, I probably ripped, geez, over the summer, I want to say between, you know, early August and, you know, probably mid-September, maybe a little before that. Probably over the course of like a solid month, like the month of August, maybe we'll call it. I probably ripped a good, shoot, dozen or so optic mega boxes, and literally I pulled one Zion and one jaw out of all those boxes. I was like, what's going on? No parallels. You know, I pulled like everyone else under the freaking rainbow. You know, I mean, I pulled every other, like, you know, prospect, rookie, or whatever you want to call it. But of course, the two chases, I pulled one Zion and one jaw. So it's a little disappointed. So I ended up, the one Zion I did pull, fortunately, was like a gorgeous, perfectly centered card. So that one already was sent off to grading a while ago. But I wanted to get another one just in case, you know, it comes back, and I want to just kind of stash it. I know this isn't, you know, anything special. It's not a cool parallel or anything, but picking these up for pretty cheap right now. They might have jumped up a little bit since I got this one, which was, you know, about a week and a half ago. Definitely you can probably get them around the $50 mark, which is still not bad for, you know, a Zion rookie in one of the top 3 sets. So the trick is, of course, finding them in good condition, because, you know, a lot of them have been sent to grading, so a lot of them have been cherry picked. So I definitely communicated a lot with this seller and just made sure that he felt like it was a gradable card. You know, the surface on these can always be tricky. There's always these little weird streaks and stuff that kind of show up in the dark backgrounds. So always be careful of that. Centering is also tricky on optics. This one isn't perfect, but I definitely think it has a shot, because it's definitely within the 60-40 range, 60-40. top to bottom looks really good. So anyways, I think this is another nice one to get ready to send in with my next PSA order. All right. And actually, I don't think this next one is a card. I actually think it's some supplies, which doesn't sound super exciting. Yep. I thought it was like this big stack of cards because the thing was so heavy. All right, this is actually PSA protective sleeves. So I actually was looking for sleeves that were more the PSA size and not the kind of typical ones that you get that are a little bit wider, and they're more made for the BGS holders, even though they don't say like BGS or whatever on the front of them. Here, I'll show you. So the Ultra Pro ones are the ones that I originally got, and then they're cool. I mean, they're fine, nothing wrong with them. They just say graded card sleeves, so they don't really specify like which graded card, because as you know, the BGSs are a lot wider than the PSA cases, and also thicker, but specifically wider. So you know, you can kind of see the width difference. It's probably like a solid, I don't know, I would say third of an inch, quarter of an inch difference there in the width. It's hard to tell with these baggies on, but anyways, you can kind of see how the PSA inside of this bag has a lot of like loose extra room, which, you know, is not like the biggest deal in the world, but you know, for people like me who have OCD pretty bad, it makes a difference. And you can see the BGS fits in here nicely. There's like barely any wiggle room in there, just like real tight. So I thought it'd be cool to have sleeves that were specifically for PSA cards, graded cards. So pick these up, and you know, not much, 15 bucks I think, and there's how many, 50 of them in here, so pretty solid. I'll probably have to get another bag once I start getting my orders back, which probably got a few more months, so I'm not stressing it right now. They also come in different milliliters sizes, and that just means kind of the thickness of the plastic. So this one's actually a little bit of the thicker ones, which I kind of thought were cool because they add a little bit more protection and just probably would feel a little bit more solid. But I think they also have a 2 milliliter, and it's probably millimeter. I'm probably saying that wrong. Anyways, 2 mil, we'll call it, thickness as well, so you can kind of check those out. But these are on Amazon is where I got mine, and you can also order these here at collectsaveprotect.com. Yeah, so anyways, just again, tools of the trade. Good to have stuff like this on hand, so as you get your cards graded and get them back and everything, you're ready to go. So the main topic of conversation today that I wanted to kind of go over is wax, and sealed wax specifically. There's been a lot of kind of conversations coming up recently around the value of sealed wax and the collectability of sealed wax, and this kind of stems from the recent sales people have been seeing through some of the bigger auction houses for, you know, like iconic sets like the 1986 Fleer basketball set, of course, that has the Michael Jordan rookie in it, and you know, a slew of other great cards in there as well. And you know, the price points these things are fetching are just outrageous, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars for cases and so on. So the question that I kind of started pondering was, you know, is there a better investment strategy with wax versus cards? And you know, I guess the real question that you have to answer is, you know, are you in it for the long haul or are you in it for the quick flip? Because I think there's definitely a component of long haul sort of move. And I'm not saying 100 years, you know, I'm not saying like you have to wait, like 86 is what, you know, 44 years ago. I'm not saying you have to wait that long, right? But actually my math is completely wrong, so take back my 44-year statement. But 34 years. The overall, I think, kind of like quick churn and burn that a lot of these sort of like sports card investors have right now is probably more well suited for singles and that game. Whereas wax, you know, unless you're buying it at retail and you're flipping it, if you're one of those guys that you can sit out in front of Walmart and wait for the distributor, grab yourself, you know, some boxes and go jump on eBay that night and sell them for double of what you bought them for, hey, good for you. You know, I mean, that's a hustle for sure. But, you know, people like me who I don't really have that time and energy to do that, where, you know, I'm not saying I wouldn't if I didn't see a big rack full of, you know, prisms sitting at Target or Walmart. I definitely would grab them up and probably would sell a majority of them right away. But I think what I'm looking to do right now is I'm going to focus on some wax that I think is going to have long-term value, and I'll kind of tell you some of my strategies on this. And I'm not obviously the first one to talk about this or the first one to do this, but I definitely think that, you know, this is something good for collectors to start thinking about. It's not just having, you know, a bunch of PSA cards, but to also kind of, you know, spread your money out across multiple fronts. And I think wax is something that kind of will hold its value and hopefully will go up. And I think the strategy on what to buy and for what reasons to buy it is really the key here. So I started off with the first box. You know, I bought in boxes before, but I rip them all. Like I said earlier, the Optic basketball over the summer, and, you know, pretty much anything else I can get my hands on. But the first time I bought something with the intention to hold it long term was this box. So this is a 2018 NFL Prism box. I think it's a pretty awesome product, and, you know, Prism is obviously king. It's really hard to go wrong with Prism, especially within football or basketball where they have the licenses. I tend to stay away from Prism baseball just because it's unlicensed, but football and basketball are the big ones, and of course soccer and others. But I think Prism football, and specifically my strategy was around the year of this box. And what I mean by that is, you know, the 2018 in particular, because I look for three things that are important, and the first being the product, making sure it's a good product, right? You don't want to buy some, you know, kind of offshoot low-end product. If you're holding it long term, you can, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna, you know, equate too much down the road. And then, you know, the other thing is you want to look at is the overall, you know, sellability of it. Does this product move? And one thing I want to note is, you know, this is a mega box. This is a retail box. I stayed away from the hobby boxes, even though the hobby boxes are much more valuable because they come with all the autos and the guaranteed parallels and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes down to resale, it's a lot easier to sell something that's, you know, a few $100s, you know, versus something that's a few $1,000s. While it's nice to sell something for a few $1,000s, it's going to take a lot longer, and it might be a lot more difficult to do so. Whereas something like this, you can liquidate it very fast, and, you know, for the most part, I could probably put this on eBay right now for a very fair price, and it'll probably move within an hour, you know, to be honest with you. So that's kind of my strategy. Obviously, I would love to own a bunch of hobby boxes, but that gets very, very pricey. So I stick with the larger retail boxes like the megas. And the other thing that's cool is, you know, these retails also come with certain parallels too that aren't, you know, in the hobbies or in any of the other products. So this one has the neon green prisms, which I think is pretty cool. And, you know, it's a good solid product. You get 40 cards total. You get 10 cards per pack. Sorry, 10 packs per box and 4 cards per pack. So 40 total cards. And, you know, and of course, the third and final most important thing is to make sure that it has a strong rookie class. So 2018 to me was one of the stronger classes of late, especially within the quarterbacks. You had, of course, Lamar Jackson, who kind of anchors this whole set. Hopefully he'll continue to dominate and do what he does, because, you know, his cards obviously were going for crazy amounts, you know, before the season started in this specific Prism set, thousands of dollars for his cards. They've cooled off a little bit, but I do think they'll sustain a decent amount of value. You also got Baker Mayfield in this class too, which Baker, of course, when he first came out, you know, was touted as the next big thing. And, you know, I think last year a lot of people lost a lot of faith in him, but this year he's actually looking pretty solid. So the Browns look like they might be a playoff contender this year, and if that's the case, then his cards will continue to rise. And then the newest kind of addition to the quarterback class here that people are starting to chase a lot now is Josh Allen. He's been pretty fantastic over the first you know, third of the season here, and, you know, he's definitely gonna, you know, continue to learn and grow. But just seeing his growth from last year to this year, I have a lot of faith that, you know, Josh Allen's here to stay, and he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. So you got 3 major quarterbacks, which is super important, I think, in any set that you're investing long term into the wax, because again, as the cards rise, you know, the singles for these players, as those rise, so does the wax. So I think it's important to make sure that you get something that has a long term play with players that you think have long-term potential. And then in addition to that, you got the extra bonuses of the skill positions doing well. So, you know, Saquon Barkley was a rookie during this class, and you have a couple other pretty big name receivers and running backs too. But overall, I think 2018 is a super strong product, and that's why I picked up this box in particular to hold on to for a little bit. Yeah. And then I wanted to show you the last one that I got in here. Try to do this. I gotta open it. This one's got my address on both sides, so don't want to do that again. So I actually ordered this from StockX. If you guys aren't familiar with StockX, they are a verified reseller. They started off in sneakers and streetwear and doing that kind of stuff, and they recently got into, not recently, but you know, over the last bit, they've been doing sports cards. So, and they do boxes as well. I actually find them to have pretty good deals, a little bit better than eBay sometimes. Just depends how early you get it. So yeah, I got this one for a pretty good deal. And again, this is something that's yeah, cool little card here. So I grabbed this because, well, let me tell you why. Sorry, bumping everything. The kind of how I was talking about with the Prism box, you know, I'm thinking through what sets, what players, what years. 2020, not 1920, 2020 Mosaic. So why did I choose this? Well, this is the first thing. This is the first year of Mosaic for football. We all know Mosaic came out for a couple years for basketball and quickly became a pretty popular product. So I definitely thought, you know, first year of any sort of like premium set, you know, Prism, Select, those types of products tend to go up in value just because it's the first year. You know, Optic did that as well in basketball. So we're kind of following suit here in football. And I think that, you know, it's a prediction, you know, a little speculating, but who knows, could come true. So anyways, first year of Mosaic football, and now let's talk about the reason why I got it, specifically because the class of rookies. So luckily this year I've had a little bit of time to see the rookies develop, and we definitely got some pretty big potentials in there. Of course, within the quarterback position, we're talking about first and foremost Joe Burrow. So Joe's been playing great on Cincinnati. They haven't had a ton of wins, but every game he seems to get better, more confident. He's starting to really put some numbers up too. I mean, he's always over 300 yards, it seems like, just tons of yards from scrimmage. His receiving core is pretty solid, you know, with Green and Higgins. And Boyd, I mean, he's got a pretty strong receiving core. So I think Cincinnati's going to be a pretty good team to watch. You know, he's going to need a year to develop before he, you know, starts doing some real damage. But I do think that he's living up to the hype as far as, you know, #1 draft pick overall and what he's been able to do so far this year. Then secondly, we had Justin Herbert, who kind of got that really odd opportunity to become the starter when sorry, I'm slowly spacing on. The starting quarterback got that weird injury where his lung got punctured and he had to end up, you know, going on the IR, and Herbert got his opportunity to jump in. So Herbert's been doing great. I think he's honestly looking the best out of all the rookies right now, in my opinion. I think he's got the potential to maybe even do something this year, but we'll see how the Chargers turn out. But again, he's got a strong receiving core. Keenan Allen and the group there, I mean, they're strong. Hunter Henry at tight end. They got a great looking team. I think they're gonna continue to get better and could end up being a real contender. And then the final quarterback, who is actually going to be starting next week, and for those watching this later, this would be week 7, I believe, for his squad, is Tua Tagovailoa, who is going to be the starter for Miami Dolphins. Kind of a interesting scenario of why Miami chose to start him, but you know, I think everyone thought that Ryan Fitzpatrick was playing some pretty good ball, and didn't really get it. But, you know, hey, I guess they want to kind of get the future started now. Why wait? Let's get him going. You know, he did play a few snaps in the last game. He looked, you know, decent for his 2 passes he threw. So I guess overall it makes sense, you know, but it does kind of suck for Fitzpatrick. I think everyone kind of generally likes him, whether you're a Dolphins fan or I guess one of the many teams he's played on fan. But yeah, he seems like a pretty solid dude, and it'd be fun to have him as your quarterback, or at least as a good solid backup. So hopefully he'll find a nice role there and can help mentor Tua to becoming a star in the league. So at any rate, this product contains all 3 of those quarterbacks. Also, there's others as well, but they haven't really come to fruition yet. But I think having, like I said, the trifecta is really the key. And then, of course, your skill positions are just kind of icing on the cake. So, you know, you got Clyde Edwards-Helaire on Kansas City. You got Justin Jefferson on the Minnesota Vikings. You got CeeDee Lamb on the Dallas Cowboys. So again, a great class of rookies in this year, and I do think Mosaic, this being the very first Mosaic product for football, could also add some more value. Of course, this isn't going to be the #1 product of the 2020 football. You've got Prism and you've got Optics, you know, Select. All those products haven't came out yet. But this was the first, you know, kind of more desirable set that came out this year, so it got a lot of love early on. So picked up this box for a decent price. Again, I didn't get it at retail, even though this is a retail product specifically. I don't have the skills to time the distributor, so grabbed it at the aftermarket. But you know, still a decent price. You know, you do pay a markup, but again, get it now. You never know what the price may go up to. The Prism box that I showed you earlier is actually now valued at 10 times over what retail MSRP was. So again, it just depends on the rookies. You know, Lamar Jackson obviously was the one that really drove the price up on that. So, you know, if Burrow or Herbert or Tua or one of those guys ends up becoming a breakout star, you're going to see all the 2020 products go up. You know, even the low end stuff, it'll go up. So grab some stuff earlier the better on wax, because obviously that's pretty much the whole game. Another kind of quick thought on wax too is just the overall availability of it. It's different than cards because once a box of wax is ripped and it's opened, that's it. It's done. You know, it's poof. There's no more of that box. Whereas cards, the more boxes that get opened, the more cards come into the market. So if you think about it like that, boxes of wax are typically going to continue to shrink over the years, because I don't think everybody is investing in wax. A lot of people just get it and they want to open it, or they might, you know, have that itchy trigger finger and just want to open it before it's, you know, sort of, ripened, you know, over the years. And I don't blame them, because trust me, it's hard looking over and seeing those boxes sitting there and me not wanting to just rip them open and see what's inside. But, you know, it also teaches you a little bit of self-control as well. So the theory is that as the years go on, there's going to be less and less and less, you know, boxes, because people are going to eventually open them and, you know, whatever, sell them, give them away. That person might open them, whatever. So the interesting concept is that, you know, as the longer the set is on the market, the less and less and less wax is available. So therefore, if you think about it like that, there really is, you know, nothing but upside. You know, again, unless the class of rookies in that set is garbage, you know, you really don't have much to worry about as long as the rookies in there perform. And, you know, again, I guess that's the same. It goes for singles, right? Your singles are basically going to drive the value of the boxes. So, you know, if the Joe Burrow Mosaic rookie card continues to go up in value over the years, the box of Mosaic will continue to go up in value over the years. So I think it's a pretty interesting investment strategy. You know, if you have any comments or you think anything otherwise, or want to just kind of leave your 2 cents on collecting unopened wax, then please drop your comment below. Appreciate it like crazy if you would like the video, and you know, if you want to subscribe. I think hopefully these videos add some value and at least something cool, entertaining to throw on the background while you're opening up cards or cleaning cards or whatever you're doing. I'll continue to make these videos, and we will be back for the next episode soon. Peace.